Well, former Prime Minister Jenny Shipley was just 48 years old when she suffered a heart attack. 10 years later, she's leaner than she's ever been thanks to a lifestyle change. And she's with us this morning promoting the Heart Foundation's new Heart Age Forecast tool. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Pippa.
We'll talk about the tool in just a minute because it's very clever. But nearly 10 years to the day, we think, although you don't know the exact day.
No, the day, but
it was close to the budget. So when you're in politics, I guess things like that become milestones.
I remember telling my heart specialist I couldn't stay here because I had to make a budget speech, and he quickly settled me down. Look, it's 10 years ago, but I guess I'm living proof that if you duck a bullet, but also if you change your lifestyle, there are choices you can make. And I don't want to preach it to people because the whole point of the Heart Foundation's program is, yes, it's hard, but we can help you. And this new tool is just terrific, and I want New Zealand women to know about it.
And it's really, really worth it, isn't it? I mean, for the sake of your children and your grandchildren and so forth. Let's talk about you at the time, because women in their 40s having heart attacks does not seem to be something we hear about. So often it's men in their 50s, isn't it, or older men.
One of the reasons I'm working with the Heart Foundation now is that a lot of women don't think it'll happen to them, and actually the medical fraternity do favour the male heart status story. And the Heart Foundation is saying, look, we need to deal with everyone fairly. So the Go Red for Women campaign, which I'm a patron of, tries to help New Zealand women say this can happen to you. And we have a heart specialist who gives us the facts, because it does happen to women. And actually, when women have their first event, they are more likely to die than men. So of the women who have their first heart event, proportionately, those numbers can be fatal. So we do need to get to women to realise this is about them, and we also need them to realise they can do something about it.
Should every woman be doing something about it, or is it, you know, there are telltale signs out there for some women?
All New Zealanders need to know this is about us, but women mustn't be left out. There are things we can do. I think knowing who you are and realising this kills more women than breast cancer, by the way. It's the #1. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer of New Zealanders, and particularly of women against other disease profile. What you can do is at least know yourself. And this new Know Your Numbers tool, so www.knowyournumbers.co.nz.
.org.nz. Is it? I think it's... We'll double-check that. I had
think
org.
It's code, but anyway,
they might both work. No, we'll check. It could well be me.
Do you know what this does? If you want to know whether your heart age is equal to where you are, or worse than where you are, or better than where you are, that's what this thing can do. It can talk with you, and if you've got a partner or a mother or a friend, honestly, it's a laugh a minute. My husband and I, Bertie and I, did it, and honestly, we were arguing with the screen, and he was... But what it does is it leads to a conversation that actually says, gosh, I didn't know this.
It makes you think, if you're a smoker, for example, and you stop smoking, the age of your heart will drop right back down, won't it?
That's right. You need to know your cholesterol ratio and your blood pressure. The top and the bottom.
They're two numbers, I mean, that we all know exist.
Yes.
We all know what they mean, and yet so many of us would have absolutely no idea of what ours is. I mean, I've just come out of a couple of pregnancies where I was having my blood pressure taken all the time, for example. No idea at all what my blood pressure is. Don't even know really what those numbers mean.
Look, I understand that, and often docs say to us, that's good.
Yes.
Or I'm a bit worried about that. I think what we're saying, and I think women understand this, is, look, of course your doctor will help you and advise you, but you need to own this. So say to them, can I write that down? What's my top blood pressure number, and what's my bottom, and what's my cholesterol ratio?
And what should it be? Yes.
Well, even if they give you the numbers, and then you go in and use your Know Your Numbers website, it's one of those things that you can... It's like a friend. You should stick it in your favourites. And every 3 months or 6 months, open it up. For anyone over 35, young man, young woman, it's about you. And so smoking, what you're doing eating-wise, whether you're exercising, what your family history is, and where you're up to.
Speaking of family history, you had family history. You know, at the time you had the heart attack, there were some telltale signs that perhaps you were at risk. And yet, I guess you were in such a busy job, it was easy to ignore them.
Oh, look, that's true. But again, living sure beats the alternative. And I would encourage anyone who's watching, this isn't just a public health message. The Heart Foundation's brilliant with, you know, eat your veggies and don't eat fats and avoid sugars. But this actually is about each of us. And I think what the Heart Foundation and the specialists and GPs have done this time is cross that line and say, look, we can tell you this. But if you want to own this, knowing your numbers is for you. And it can allow you on an ongoing basis to educate yourself. But if it tells you your heart age is worse than your actual chronological age, it doesn't just leave you there. It then has this marvellous set of choices of health programs, ideas as to what you might want to do, suggestions. It, of course, encourages you to talk to your general practitioner. So know about the website and go and have a play. Make sure when you're at the doc, say, I want to write those down. But actually use it as a friendly tool, not a lecturing, painful, I don't want to know about this stuff. I wish I had been guided toward it. Because even though I knew my father had died when I was 18, and he was only 52, and so that family thing was there. This is a very user-friendly way to put these things in perspective, but really make you face up. You can't just say, oh, I don't know about that stuff. It puts it all together, and it uses an algorithm which many doctors around the world have validated and universities have validated. So it's not just bright idea nonsense. It's using a formula that's well proven worldwide to assess risk.
And I know that even before you get those numbers, do go and get them. You can still go onto the website and it will make some estimates for you. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Jenny Shipley.
And just to confirm, both the .org.nz and the .co.nz. So you're both
that's good. Perfect. You're safe.